the work. At what time do you start making internal accounts? It depends on your attitude. You begin to make internal accounts when you feel that you erode. With regard to some people, you feel you erode if you make the slightest effort on their behalf. Some people's attitude towards the work is such that if they make any attempt to work either on themselves or in conjunction with others, or if they do anything for the work itself, they feel that they're owed something. Unfortunately, we are brought up on the principle of being rewarded. If you're a good girl, I will give you a sweet, or if you finish your exercise, I will take you to the cinema. A person who expects reward for every effort that he or she makes grows up into a very discontented being and never fits into life. One might say nowadays that there is a general increase in making internal accounts. People feel that they should not be doing what they are doing, or getting far more pay and so on. Ouspensky used to call attention to the fact that since the introduction of machinery, people take little or no pleasure in their jobs, and the former pride that craftsmanship is dying out. He said that the emotional part of moving center is not satisfied by modern conditions. He saw in machines one of the greatest menaces to the human race and said that machines will make man go to war. Now the three lines of work, which are work on yourself, work in conjunction with others, and work for the work itself, require three different attitudes. It is true that you can get something for yourself in each case, but your aim will not be only to get something for yourself in each case. If it is, you will probably get nothing. If you do not work with others, you do not see them in yourself and yourself in them. Lacking this indescribably important development of consciousness, you get a distorted view of your own value. Again, if you do nothing for the work, it will not do anything for you. If we could work without expecting to get an immediate reward and losing any faith that we had in the work if we do not get a reward, we would have gone a considerable way in making false personality passive. It may strike some of you as extraordinary that a person should ever make effort unless a reward were given him. But here lies a mystery which I do not attempt to explain, but which I tried to indicate in the last paper. It is possible to make effort even although one does not expect a reward. There is such a thing as love of doing a thing for its own sake. There is such a thing as being free from making internal accounts and no longer looking at life with a jealous eye, asking where one comes in oneself, or how much one will make out of it. I would say that this is one meaning of the strange work expression that we should not work for results. To work for the necessity of working on yourself, from the understanding of its necessity in view of your gradual dawning consciousness of what you are really like, is not to work for immediate reward, but to work from understanding that this is what you have to do with yourself, and this is the scheme, and this is why you are on this planet, which is so far down in the scale of being. In view of this attitude, one should, of course, think that one has done absolutely nothing as yet, that one has never made any real effort or faced up to anything in oneself seriously. But there are always those who indeed, almost as soon as they connect themselves with the work, begin to blame the work for everything that happens to them, and they make internal accounts against it. Their sheets are torn at the laundry. It is the work's fault. Such people have an absolutely wrong attitude to the work. It is tiny and mean. And as often as not they seem to think that it is kind of them to come to meetings. These are very immature people and need a great deal of experience of life to correct so foolish an attitude. To make internal accounts with the work is like bargaining with the Almighty. It is, of course, connected with an enormous self-conceit due to a state of sleep that only the recurring tragedies of life can break up. In proportion as the work is received with the understanding, it moves inwards in centers so that its truths are seen internally as truths. So does your attitude to the work enlarge itself, and you receive more force from your attitude. A small and narrow attitude to the work can give only a superficial relation to it. The strength behind the work from its foundations cannot communicate itself through small and exacting I. Your own state of being holds you up. Negative I stand in the way. But what especially holds many of you back is that you do not see the truth of what the work teaches for yourself. The understanding is that which can see the truth. It is interior sight. It does not require confirmation from others. You merely see that a thing is so. This is understanding, the strongest force that one can develop. What is the cure for this subhuman, monkey conceit that all possess? The cure lies in increase of consciousness. This is the method of the work. You cannot remain as conceited as you are if you become more conscious of what is in you. I include in the term conceit both pride and vanity. The work teaches that two giants go before us and arrange everything beforehand. They are your pride and your vanity. You may be fairly certain that when this work becomes remote and cold in you, you're up against conceit. Probably you're resenting. That is, some form of your conceit which is up against the work. We spoke about the phrase so badly translated, blessed are the meek. The meaning rather should be, those who do not resent have inner happiness. This is quite different from outer happiness. Now people with a good opinion of themselves resent and envy easily. In all states of resentment, conceit is involved. Consider the part Christ had to play in this respect. He had to play consciously the part of a failure according to prophecy. He told his companions he had to fail. Now owing to conceit, our attitude to ourselves is far more powerful than any attitude to the work. It is not a matter of pretense, of pious humility, that I mean. It is seeing with the understanding that one is very small and poor and ignorant in the scale of creation and in comparison to divine being, and really just like a silly, vain monkey. In place of consciousness we have conceit. Work is a question of increasing one's consciousness, not imitating virtues like monkeys. It is a long, painful but wonderful journey, this journey of increasing consciousness, always at the expense of some aspect of self-conceit. In utter places where the danger is great, where a man begins to ascribe power to himself that he has not yet reached and to give himself airs and think he is a god long before he has reached the goal, and when the personality is still active. But seen as temptations to the conceit, they vanish. So do not be surprised if the work gets you where your conceit feels it most, for the track the work follows is successive releases from conceit. That is what it has to do. If you try to understand what the work is about, it will, in turn, help you to see how difficult it is for it to help you and how heavily fenced in and fortified and downright stupid your conceit makes you. It will over the years show you what a job it is to dislodge you a single job from your conceptions of yourself, and at the same time how necessary this is for you, and what inner happiness release from conceit gives you, which no rewards or honors or any other of the sources of satisfaction to your conceit can give. For of what use has your life been to you if you have never caught a glimpse of the way to inner happiness and are bitter and have done little else than make internal accounts against others and understand nothing about yourself or what you had to learn?